So yes, today we're going to talk about rates. Rates is just the next step in what we've already been talking about for the last month in ratios. What we're going to do is we're going to take the ratio, which compared two numbers. You see a definition here, a rate is a ratio that compares two different types of units. So how many of you guys remember how much we stressed stuff like simplifying and defining your variables? Pretty important stuff, right? Okay. Listen to me as I talk about rates today. See how many times I say the word units. Guess what we're really going to focus in on this portion of the instruction? Units. Guess what's going to be taking points off if you don't have it on your tests and quizzes? Units. Okay? Really, really important, guys. You got to understand that's what a rate is. A rate's a comparison of units. Now, within rates, we've got a couple special ones. One of the special ones is what we call a unit rate. And a unit rate, what we're really doing is taking our denominator to 1, so that we're only going to have one number, but two units. That's what a unit rate is. Okay? By reducing my denominator to 1, I'm able to have just one number. What that means is sometimes you're going to have decimals. So don't be afraid of decimals. They're not hard. How many of you struggle a little bit on long division? Please be honest, because we need to know how much we need to stress on that. Okay, so we'll give you guys a little extra instruction on long division today, just to make sure you guys get a little bit better feel on that. The other special rate we're going to talk about is a unit price. A unit price is basically a specialized unit rate that deals specifically with money. So it's how much of something can I get for $1. So in other words, the dollar is going to be in my denominator. It would be like so many pounds per dollar, so many units per dollar. That's what we're going to talk about on that one. That's a unit price. Now we're going to do really two different things today. Eliminating units and finding mystery box are two ways to do the same thing. We'll show you both and let you guys work to figure out which one you're most comfortable with. The solving the rate problems is basically just saying, if I'm going to make a comparison, how can I do that? The first thing you need to do is set up the rate by writing the initial ratio with the units listed in that order. So just as we did with ratios, we did it as it was written in English, right? We translated it directly to math. We're going to do the exact same thing with rates. As it's written in English, you're going to do that. The difference is, now not only am I going to have two units, two numbers that I'm going to put into a fraction, I'm also going to have two units that I'll put into a fraction. Then you're going to simplify the number portion as much as possible. Divide both numbers by the denominator. So whatever my denominator is, that's what we're going to divide them both by. That's going to get me to one number. If I'm just doing a comparison, I could just simplify as much as possible. A lot of times that's going to help us. So who remembers our 4 key numbers? We talked about it several times, but it's been a little while. Lydia?
2, 3, 5, 7.
Awesome. Thank you very much for paying attention. 2, 3, 5, 7. If you have forgotten those, please write them down again. Those are the key numbers, especially when you're going to be doing stuff like simplifying. It's going to make your math a lot easier to focus in on those 4 numbers. Okay, the other 2 are going to be eliminating units. In other words, we're going to just find an answer for one piece of what we're solving for. To do eliminating units, what you're going to do is you're going to write the initial rate with the unit you're eliminating on the bottom. You're going to multiply by the unit being eliminated. So it now equals 1. That means it can be crossed out. When you write your answer, whatever unit was left, when you set it up, that unit goes in your answer. Remember, your units matter. This is where you will lose points when we're doing these problems if your units are not listed. Okay? The other is what we call the mystery box or ratio constant. In this case, you're going to write the rate as a fraction and include the units with it. You're going to put an equal sign. Then you're going to write the units in the same order on the other side as a fraction. They're going to have to give you a third piece of information. It's the only way you can solve these. So that third piece of information is going to go with the unit that it's listed as. Okay? Once you've done that, you figure out 2 of the numbers are going to have a relationship. I'm either going to be dividing or multiplying to get from one side to the other. That goes in my mystery box. Whatever I do on that top or bottom, I also do on the other side. Again, make sure that you put in your units. But the number in the box is going to help you figure it out. So that sounds kind of like garbage, gibberish right now. Let's do a couple examples so you can actually see how these things work. So go ahead and turn in your modules to page 67. Yeah, page 67. Here's where we start transforming rates to unit rates. That cola was on sale last week. That's a unit, we'll circle that. It costs $10 for every 4 packs of diet soda. How much do 2 packs of diet cola cost? So here's where we have our 2 ways. So first I'm going to use the eliminating units method, okay? The eliminating units method, I take the information they've given me and I write it out. So I do $10 for every 4 packs. I'm getting rid of packs, so I want to find out what the dollars is. So that's why the packs goes on the bottom. So I'm going to multiply now by what I'm converting to. In other words, 2 packs. Because I am working with fractions, that goes over 1. Okay? Quick little sidebar. What is 2 divided by 2? Okay. What's 10 divided by 10? What's 100 divided by 100? What's a million divided by a million? What's packs divided by packs? 1. If I have the same thing, and I'm dividing by the same thing, it will always be 1. So what I'm doing is dividing packs by packs. It goes away because it's now 1. I've gotten rid of it. Now I look at the rest of the numbers. I have a 10, a 4, and a 2. Do I have any of our 4 key numbers in common? 2. So I can divide them by 2, right? So if I divide 4 by 2, that makes it a 2. I can divide 2 by 2, makes it a 1. When I'm multiplying fractions, if I find a common factor on the top and the bottom, I can take it out to make my math simpler overall. Any other ones I can do? 10 and 2, I can divide both those by 2. Makes that a 1, makes that a 5. So now all I have left is 5. 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 1 is 1. 5 divided by 1 is 5. My units left is dollars. So how much do 2 packs of Diet Cola cost? Yeah, rates is a form of ratios, honestly. The only difference is we're now adding units. So we're in ratios, we said don't really care what it's with. Rates is all about what it's with. Yes, so.
I think a simpler way to do this was just divide $10 by the 2 packs.
Okay. Now, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Here's the problem, guys. Most of what we're teaching you is we give it to you with easier numbers so you can understand the process. So when the numbers become harder, you can still do it. Okay? So yes, it's 10 divided by 2. If you can understand that, that's great. But if you understand how to set it up, when I now make it 10.4 divided by 4.7, you'll still be able to do the math, where you can't do it mentally. Okay? So we give you the process so you get the practice in while the numbers are easier. But please show the work, do the process. So now this was the eliminating units. That's method 1. The other method we showed you is the mystery box. And the mystery box is really what Solo just did. In the mystery box method, what we're really doing, I still the same first step. I write down the information, including the units, $10 and 4 packs. But here we have a multiplication, right? In the eliminating unit mystery box, we're actually just going to set up another fraction. And the other fraction is going to look exactly like the one we started with. So I just put a division bar and then the dollars and packs. Then I go back to my problem. What was the other piece of information I gave you? 2 packs. So where do you think that 2 is going to go, on top or on bottom?
Bottom.
Because it's $2?
$5. It's going to go on the bottom for the 2 packs.
Makes sense, right? And that's, guys, honestly, that's one of the big advantages. Writing down the units right away, you'll know exactly where that 2 goes. Because I know it goes with packs. Make sense? So, 2 packs. And so here's what Solo did. Solo said, well, how about I go from 4 to 2? Divided by?
2.
That's what goes in my mystery box. The mystery box is saying, How did I go from one side of this proportion to the other? Dividing by 2. So if I divide by 2 on the bottom, guess what I have to do on the top? Divide by 2 gives me $5. So 2 different ways to get the same answer. Make sense? Okay? So the nice thing is we're going to let you choose. I don't care which way you use. They're both mathematically sound. So whichever one you feel the most comfortable with is the one I want you to use. So let's do another one. How much does 1 pack of Diet Cola cost? So we go back to our initial ratio. We have $10, 10, not an 8, $10 for 4 packs equals, but now I want what? 1 pack. So is that going to go on the top or on the bottom? Bottom, because that's what packs are. Make sense? I put my mystery box. How do I go from 4 to 1? Me, question or answer? You sure?
Divide it by itself.
Divided by
4.
4. So guess what I do at the top? Divide by 4. So for those of you who raised your hand and said you're not so good at division, let me just show you. This is really quite simple, guys. The way I always think about it is I think about this as a contest. Because even as a kid, I always struggle with which number goes inside the box when I'm looking at those two. And the way I came up with it, I come up with a contest. So the top guy is the winner. The winner gets to go in the house. The loser's left out in the rain. So whatever helps you, but that's the way I like to think of it. The winner goes in the house because he won. He gets the reward. Loser gets left out in the rain. He goes on the outside. Now to do the actual math. I look at it place by place. Will 4 go into 1? No, so I go to the next number. Will 4 go into 10? Yes. How many times? 2. Subtract 8. I am not at a 0. So what do I do? There's nothing there.
Add a 0.
Can I just add a 0? So?
Oh, I know.
2 times 4.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's it.
T? Thank you. Add a decimal and then the 0. Gotta have that decimal in there. Now the nice thing in the division is that decimal, guys, just float straight on up into your answer. So it goes straight on up. So now that I've been able to add that, now I can just bring that 0 down. How many times does 4 go into 20? 5. Once I hit 0, I'm done. So because it's money, we'll add an extra 0. Because money always, American money, always has 2 decimal places, right? So what did we end up with? $2.50 is what the cost was. Make sense? Is it all? No, that's B-Lunch. Where's C-Lunch? Okay, so let's talk another one. Keegan went to the game room to buy new video games. Game room was having a sale, $65 for 4 video games. He bought 3 games for himself and 1 game for his friend Diego, but Keegan does not know how much Diego owes for the 1 game. What is the unit price? That was one of the things we just gave you of the video games. What is the rate unit? We didn't really talk about that one because I don't like the emphasis on it, but we'll talk about it in a second because it's actually pretty simple. So what we do, start our initial ratio. So what is the rate? Again, it's literally, we just do it the way it's written. Devin?
The rate is $65 for 4 videos.
Good. I'm going to use method 2 with our mystery box. Figure out how we're doing this. So that means I can automatically put dollars and games right here. Bless you. What am I trying to solve for? Unit price means my unit is 1. How do I go from 4 to 1? Okay, divide by 4. So my mystery box gets it divided by 4. Guys, can I see the mystery box? That's showing your work. That's really what we're doing on this. So what that means I need to do what? 65 divided by 4. 65 divided by 4. Go through that same process. How many times will 4 go into 6? Once. So I can do it, so I do. Minus 2, or minus 4, gives me 2. 5 comes down. How many times will go into 25? 6. Subtract 24. I'm still not at 0. What do I do?
Decimal point.
Decimal point is 0. The decimal point is 0. As soon as I put my decimal point here, guys, I always bring it straight up so I don't forget about it. Just makes it easier.
I've made that mistake.
Yeah, it's an easy mistake to make. That's why I do it right away. Now I have another 0 to bring down. How many will 4 go into 10? 2. Still have 0, so I need another 0 to bring down. 4 goes into 20. Finally made it down to 0, so we're done. Okay, now some of you that are really good with money could have said as soon as I hit that 1, it's 16 and 1/4 dollars, so 16 and a quarter. 16 and a quarter. I'd be okay with that. Cashiers, you'd be surprised. It's kind of scary sometimes.
They all have computers.
See, being a math teacher, like, I would give the currency places a lot of credit. A lot of times if you're changing American money to Japanese yen, so sometimes a larger amount, say for example it comes out to 21,180, I will give, if I've got some extra change in my pocket, I will give the cashier an extra 20 yen along with the 20 yen with the American dollars, so that I get it 200 back instead of 180. Because I like to keep my coins down. Yep. So it's like getting full dollars back. So have I answered the question? No. What did I miss? Oh, I didn't put it there. Sorry. So now have I answered the question?
Yes. Yes. But you know how many it is.
Thank you. So the unit price is, and when we're doing unit price, remember, it's one number and 2 units. 16.25 per game. If it makes you feel better, I would actually accept $16.25 per game if you wanted to write it that way. Although normally when we have dollars, we put it in front of the number and then just say per game after. So either of those would be acceptable. And just so you guys know, this is the unit price. The rate unit is basically just what's the rate. In other words, the units are involved. Make sense? Questions on any of that? Okay, go ahead and turn the page. Mr. Chan? Okay, this one. We have 4 football fans traveling the distance between New York to Oklahoma to see the game. Each driver set the cruise control during the period, enabling to travel at a constant speed. The group changed drivers each time they stopped for gas, and their driving times and distances are in the table below. So they gave us this table. So what 2 quantities are being compared? There's our question. Is distance a quantity? Sean?
Miles and hours.
Miles and hours. The 2 things being compared are distance and time, but when we talk about quantities, that's a measurement, correct? So the measurements are miles and hours. Does everybody understand the difference? Okay. So what is the ratio of the 2 quantities for Andre's portion of the trip? What is the associated rate? So that's actually a box. So we got 2 questions here. Fortunately, they gave us easy boxes for it. So Andre's ratio, how would I write his ratio? Okay? 208 to 4? Is that my final answer? What do we always do?
Simplify.
Always simplify. So what would that? What can I divide those both by? Yeah? 4. So if you see the 4, please do that. I'm pretty good at this stuff, so it's going to go 52 times. 52 to 1. If you don't see the 4, go to your 4 key numbers. You can do it by 2. If I do it by 2, and sometimes it's actually going to be easier to do it by 2, guys, I'll be honest with you. But if I look at this and I divide it by 2, 2 goes into there once, goes into 0, 0, goes into there 4, and 4 twice, so I just have to do it twice. So divide that by 2 again, gets me 52 to 1. I can get to the same answer either way. 2 takes me an extra step, but honestly, sometimes the math is easier to do it by 2. So don't shy away from that. So what is my actual rate then? 52 miles per hour. Make sense? Anybody struggling with this? Good, because you guys get to do the next 3 by yourselves. Keep mine on.
All right, what was Mateo's ratio from the table? From the table. Yes.
456 to 8.
456 to 8. And what does the 456 represent?
The miles.
Miles. And the 8 represents the hours. So we are looking for Mateo's rate. When we're talking about rate, we're looking for how far they went in how many hours? 1 hour. So, are we getting bigger or smaller? Smaller. So we're multiplying or dividing? What do we divide 8 by to get to 1? 8. So if we divide this side of our ratio by 8, we have to divide the other side of our ratio by 8. So, we come out to the side. Can 8 go into 4?
No.
No. Can it go into 56?
45. 45?
Yes, that. Can it go into 45?
Yes.
How many times?
5.
5 times 8?
40.
5 minus 0?
5.
4 minus 4?
0.
Bring down my 6. How many times can 8 go into 56?
7.
7 times 8? So we have a 0 remainder and we can stop. So we get 57 miles in 1 hour. Yes? So his rate is 57 miles per hour. Any question about that one? All right, who can tell me Janae's ratio from the table?
300 to 6.
300 to 6. And when we're finding rates, we are trying to find how many in 1 hour. So we know 300 stands for the miles and 6 stands for the hours. So we're going to put our 1 under our 6. Yes? Am I getting bigger or smaller? So I know I'm going to be dividing. What do I divide 6 by to get to 1? So I need to divide 300 by the same number. So I have 300 divided by 6. Can 6 go into 3?
No.
Can it go into 30?
Yes.
How many times?
5.
5 times 6?
30.
Bring down my 0. Now people get confused here. Just because I have a 0 remainder does not mean I am done. They gave me 3 numbers in my problem, so I need 3 numbers in my answer. Got it? Can 6 go into 0?
No.
No. So I need a 0 up here. So I get 50 miles in 1 hour. So what is Janae's rate? Who can tell me?
50 miles to 1 hour.
50 miles. And you can say per hour because per means 1. Any questions? All right, what was Grayson's ratio? Lily? 265? 265 to 5. Okay, what does 265 represent? Kaden?
Miles.
The miles. And the 5 represents the
Hours.
hours. So we are finding the rate. So we're looking for how many? 1 hour. So I'm going to put my 1 under hours. Am I getting bigger or smaller? So I'm going to 5 divided by what gives you 1?
5.
So I have to do the same thing to the other side. Divide by 5. So 265 divided by 5. Can 5 go into 2? Can it go into 26?
Yeah.
How many times? 5 times 5?
5.
6 minus 5?
1.
2 minus 2?
0.
Bring down my 5. Can 5 go into 15?
Yes.
How many times?
3.
This board doesn't write well. 15, and I have a 0 remainder. So 53 miles in 1 hour. How do I write that as a rate?
53 miles per hour.
53 miles per hour. Any questions about that? All right, let's look at the bottom. It says for each part in 2 and 3, circle the unit rate and put a box around the rate unit. So here's a hint. The unit rate is always going to be your answer. That's your number. The rate unit is the unit you labeled your number with. So you're just going to put a box around your words. Okay? Any questions? Does everybody have that on their paper? Because I'm about to switch slides, I think. If I can figure out how. Arrow? Yay me! All right. A publishing company is looking for new employees to type novels that will soon be published. The publishing company wants to find someone who can type at least 45 words per minute. Let's talk about what at least means. What does it mean when they say at least 45 words per minute? Devin?
At the minimum?
Okay, so tell me that in, can I type less than 45?
No. When it says at least, it means exactly or more.
It means exactly 45 words per minute or more. It can be 46, 47, 48, or any other number. It just cannot be smaller than 45. Does everybody understand? All right, so she discovered she can type at a constant rate of 704 words in 16 minutes. Does Dominique type fast enough to qualify for the job? Explain why or why not. So find Dominique's rate and see if she types at least 45 words per minute. And then explain, can she get the job or not? Oh, goodness. More problem at the bottom. It's not a very long problem. Okay, first of all, we need not to type in this type. Right here, and then we find our rate. Rate represents
Okay, it's almost lunch, so I'm going to just hop through this one really quick. They're looking for people to type novels. They want to find someone who can type at least 45 words per minute. Dominique discovered she can type at a constant rate of 704 words in 16 minutes. Does Dominique type fast enough rate to qualify for the job? Explain why or why not. Okay, so we know she does 704 words in 16 minutes. What do we really need to know? How many she does in 1 minute. So when I'm setting this up, guys, if you'll set this up this way every time, it's going to make it easy for you.
Wait, are you recording?
As soon as, yeah, I'm recording. As soon as I type my units on this side, do your units on the other side, and figure out what I need. I need 1 minute. How do I go 16 to 1?
Divide by 16.
Divide by 16. So guess what I need to do to the top?
Divide by 16.
Okay, now, here's the key thing. 704 divided by 16. Is that going to be easy math?
Yes. Not really.
Not really. So what I can do is divide by 2. Excuse me. So I'm going to do reductions. Goes into 7 3 times, with 1 left over, goes into 10 5 times, nothing left over, goes into 2 once. So I'm now at 33, 52, and 8. I can divide that one by 2 again. Goes into 3 once, 15 7 times, 12 6 times, 8 4 times. As soon as I see a number that I think is going to be easier, now I can do it. You guys think 17 and 4, or 176 and 4 would be easy, or would 2 be good again? Okay, we can do 2 again, because 2 is easy. 2 goes into 17, 8. Leave me 1 left over, 16, 8. So 88 to 2.
Now 4 might be easier.
No, now you can't do 4, because I'm down to 2 on this side. So now I'm just dividing by 2. 34 to 1. So you could divide that by 16. Those of you that did, you probably struggled a little bit on some of the numbers, especially if you're having difficulties with math, but the 2s are easy. She did 44 to 1. What does she need? 45. Was she fast enough?
No.
Nope. Okay, so you got to get that better. Okay, let's go to page 76. We're going to do the next one. Now we're going to do it finding a rate by dividing 2 quantities. On this one, it's a fun burger. Burger Master makes burgers at a rate of 4 burgers per minute. In order to adjust the heavy volume of customers, he needs to continue at this rate for 30 minutes. If he continues to make hamburgers at this pace, how many hamburgers will Burger Master make in 30 minutes? So again, you can do either the elimination method or the proportion method. I actually am kind of a big fan of the proportion method. So we go 4 burgers, 1 minute, equals, draw your line. And here's why I like this method, guys. Because literally all you do is rewrite the units, then you go back into the problem, figure out what that third piece of information they gave you was, and you know exactly where it goes. So what was the other one they gave us? What's the other one they gave us?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Does that go top or bottom? Bottom. Then we go to mystery box. How do I go from 1 to 30?
Multiply by 30.
So guess what I do at the top? Multiply by 30. Have I answered the question? What do I need to do, Keith? Write a sentence. He can make 120 burgers. Burgers. Yeah. Yes, Liam. Again, set up the problem. We give you easy numbers early so that you understand the process. Please get to understand the process, because I will just warn you guys, we have a quiz coming up on this stuff where your kids irritated me a couple years ago, so I threw some really nasty numbers in there, just so you can't just do it in your head. So if you don't know the process, you're going to fail the quiz. And I will be honest, I did it intentionally, because I get tired of students that don't want to do what we're asking them to do. So, Liam, guess what you should be doing? Good, thank you very much. Okay, Chandra is the editor of the New York Gazette. Her job is to read each article before it is printed in the newspaper. If Chandra can read 10 words per second, how many words can she read in 60 seconds? So there's our question. So again, start with the rate that they give us. Write down the numbers and the words. So 10 words. It says per second, so what's the number that goes with that? 1. And I know it equals some words per second, correct? How many seconds do I want? What's that third piece of information? 60. So where does that 60 go? Top or bottom? Bottom. Why? Because that's where seconds is. Does that make sense? Pretty easy to just set up once you pay attention to all those little details, right? How do I go from 1 to 60? Multiply by 60. So when I do the top, multiply by 60. What do I get?
600.
So she can read 600 words. $600 words a minute? That's pretty decent. Questions, guys? Are these making sense to you? Okay? I'm glad to hear everybody saying it's easy. Because on page 77, we get to have some fun now. This one should be relatively easy. We had 52 words per minute. And I know that it equals something in 4 minutes. So I have some number of words up here. How did I go from 1 to 4? Times 4, so 52 times 4 gives me 208.
I got it right.
Okay, so 208 words. Good?
Yep.
Okay, let's try again. Here's your next one. You have 1 minute. Yes. So 48 miles an hour equals some miles per hour. The additional information they gave us was 2 hours. So how do I go from 1 to 2? Times 2. Multiply 48 by 2 and I get 96. Good? Not always. So, for those of you here, Isaiah said, I've noticed a pattern. All I have to do is multiply. Not every time, guys. That's why you have to set these up. Please set them up like we're asking you to. It's going to show you exactly what you do. It will not always be multiplying. Sometimes it's going to be dividing. Sometimes it's going to end up in decimals. So you've got to be aware. Again, don't just look for shortcuts. Here's your next one. So on this one, we have 3 books per week, and so I go books, week. On my other side, the other piece of information is 12 weeks, so the 12 goes there. How do I go 1 to 12? Good job, Milani. Times 12, so I do the 3 times 12, and I get 36 books. So yes, you should have done a full sentence. I'm going quicker to make sure we get through everything and have time to do the homework. Okay, we have another one. Okay, this one, we got 4 notebooks per dollar. She has $12 to spend. Set up our rate. Include both units, notebooks and dollars. Equals notebooks and dollars. The other one they gave me is 12. How do I go from 1 to 12? 28. Kevin, your math is a little off there. That is the answer. 48. Okay, you guys feeling good on these? Okay, here's another. Oh, what happened to my pen? 50 baskets a day. And we have 60 days. So what they did was they double did that one for you. So hopefully that didn't mess you guys up. So I've got 50 baskets per day. And I know it's going for, let me stay informed, baskets per day. But I know it's going for 60 days. So how do I go from 1 to 60? Times 60. 60 times 50 is 3,000 baskets. I'm kidding. Okay. So that's it. Let's go ahead and go back, guys. No, not yet. We actually, looks like we might have enough time for you guys to do a little bit. But here's this one. In case you haven't noticed, every time they give you kind of a lesson summary from the units, a lot of that you'll see in your notes. I pulled important stuff out that I feel is most important, and we put it in the notes. Couple things on this one. They're giving you unit rates for two different things. So the easiest way to do this is go down to a single unit rate. So in other words, you're going to divide the $2.99 by 2, the $3.99 by 3, figure out which one is cheaper. How do I know which is the better buy? Is it on? This is page 70, your first homework page. How do I know which one is the better buy, guys? Devin?
Whichever has the lower unit price.
Okay, so what do you mean by lower unit price?
Whichever costs less for 1 pound.
Less for 1 pound, but okay, the way these are being set up, it should be less for 1 pound. Okay? So this one, I want the less for 1 pound. This one, they do the other way. 5 pounds, $2.85. 7 pounds, $4.20. So what am I looking for on that one? The one I get the most per dollar. Okay? So you do have to be conscientious of which way they've got these set up for you. Now, I will just let you guys know, we normally, when we talk about unit price, talk price per dollar. So in that case, it's okay to reverse these. So where we're really stringent on ratios always being written exactly like they are, now that we're doing rates, and especially we're talking pricing, it's okay to always make the dollar second. Make sense? So that's going to give you an easier way to see it. Because then all I do, what do I get the most of per dollar? Quarter?
So can we say like the grocery mart is selling it for $3 for 2 pounds, and then the Ellis market is selling it for $4? Or do you have to be
Do the exacts, because that pricing does make a difference. Just so you guys know, that was an advertising guy that figured out that people will spend, they're more likely to buy it at $2.99 than they are at $3.
Because it sounds like less.
Sounds like less money, even though it's basically the exact same. Yes.
Do people use a different strategy?
What strategy do you want to use?
Well, for number 2, I see a different strategy that could help.
As long as it's mathematically sound and repeatable, I have no problem with it. Stuff like cost multiplying is absolutely fine.
That's what I was going to
Okay, go to page 78. On page 78, again, you only have 2 problems. Your homework tonight, guys, is 4 problems. Granted, number 1 does take 2 parts, so it's actually 3 problems. This one, here's where Liam, I think, was making comments about how the numbers were easy. These numbers aren't quite as easy. So just make sure that you're setting them up properly so that the numbers don't throw you off. Okay? And this one, please make sure you understand the question. Will the pool be full in time? So basically, do they make the amount that they need or not? Okay? Answer the question as it's asked. Don't just throw a bunch of numbers in there and expect us to interpret your answer. Any questions on anything we've covered today? Okay? So, homework should be relatively simple, guys.